Happy birthday to you, Rock En Seine. Joyeux anniversaire, Rock En Seine!
Hello and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. We're at Rock En Seine, just outside Paris, which is one of the highlights of the end of the season. Rock En Seine is famed for its fantastic headlining acts ranging from the Strokes to Cypress Hill, but also for championing young talent, as well as being the stage or the setting for some very rock and roll moments. 2023 also marks the 20th anniversary of Rock En Seine, and as you can imagine, it's not just going to be any old edition this year, as Clovis Casali and Julien Sauvager report.
"21-year-old superstar Billie Eilish. With a show her fans won't forget. Some camped for 2 days outside the venue to get the best spot. Girl in Red was another artist performing in front of the 40,000 people gathered on the outskirts of Paris. Rock En Seine is celebrating its 20th anniversary. It has become a well-established event.
It's always the last festival before summer ends. It's like an antidepressant.
Everybody is very environmentally aware because I know, again, this is the 20th into the theme of climate, which is very important to everybody across the world.
Happy birthday.
And continue like this. It's good vibes, well organized. Go on for 20 more years.
Rock En Seine has booked many big names over the years. Iggy Pop, Lana Del Rey, Arcade Fire, or the Arctic Monkeys. But the festival has also made the headlines for those who failed to perform. In 2009, this is where Oasis broke up.
Je vous annonce que malheureusement, à l'instant sur le site de Rock En Seine, Liam et Noël se sont battus.
The director of the festival remembers a difficult time.
One guitar flew over the dressing rooms. Noel left the site before the show. We were obliged to cancel just 1 hour and a half before the beginning of the show. So everyone was very disappointed, but now Rock En Seine is part of rock history. So we can laugh about it a bit now.
Rock En Seine has always embraced different musical genres. Sweden's Tove Lo might not play rock and roll, but she knows how to put on a show, delighting her fans of all ages.
And Rock En Seine is not the only music star celebrating 2 decades in the industry. I'm joined by Montreal's electro-funk duo Chromeo. Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Hi. Pretty good.
Now, 20 years or over 20 years in the industry, did you expect to have this progression of coming up to 2 decades?
Nah, I don't know what we thought. We knew we were going to do this forever, though.
I don't think we ever stopped to think about it.
Rock En Seine, so 20 years, but they've got headlining acts this year, such as the Strokes, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Chemical Brothers, who were already huge and doing all the festivals when you were starting off. How would you say the scene has changed over the last 20 years?
It's nice to see people like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and the Strokes back on top of the world, because they're the best to ever do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I like the Strokes as much as the Rolling Stones, you know? To me, that's the festival acts that you should book, you know? Like, I know people book a lot of pop stuff too, and it's cool, but those indie bands from the 2000s, they're the festival kings and queens, you know? So it's nice to see them.
The festivals were invented for them.
So what would you say have been the highlights of your career?
Oh,
Grammy nomination.
yeah, Grammy nomination, Coachella,
5 Coachellas.
5 Coachellas, playing a jazz festival in Montreal. For me, that was very cool.
Girl, I feel so taken by you. And I know I played myself one time or two. Ooh, but now I don't have eyes for anyone. And I don't need a new. Ooh, girl, I feel so taken by you. And I know I played myself one time or two. Ooh, but now I don't have eyes for anyone.
Now, I wanted to also ask you about your new single, which is really cool. I Don't Need a New Girl. Fantastic music
Thank
video,
you.
which is super fun.
Thank you.
I wanted to know about this kind of return to funk and electro, because you kind of had a
Little bit, right?
segue into indie before that. What brought you back to your roots?
I think we had a segue into pop too, a little bit. And then now we're back on the funk tip, electro funk tip.
Yeah. How did that happen naturally? What was it? Were you missing it?
I guess I don't know. How did it happen? We just wanted to.
Yeah.
It's the DNA.
Yeah, like it's like when we started making this music, like you didn't hear our kind of sound in mainstream music, but now you hear it a little bit more. So, you know, it's kind of cool to go back a little bit to the roots and to where we started and kind of do a bit of a full circle. But I don't know, like, yeah, we don't think about these things too much.
Yeah.
We were just like, let's go back to making an album where we both play everything, produce everything, write everything. And those are the songs that came out.
It's a track that celebrates monogamy and being comfortable with one person. Yeah.
I mean, this album has a lot of themes about mature relationships. We're not going to reveal the title, but I think it's our best title ever in our history of our career.
So we know there's a new album
and
coming.
I think we had some good titles, if I may say so myself.
Yeah.
It's about a lot of like mature themes and relationships in context of having been around 20 years. So it's kind of like the parallel between like a mature music career and mature relationships. I guess that's a cool way to say it, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of mature relationships, the one amongst yourselves, you've referred to yourselves as the only successful Arab-Jewish partnership since the dawn of human culture. And that's really cool. Musical, anyway. How would you say your various, background influences, musical or other, have infused Chromeo's sound?
I don't think it influences the music at all, and the whole thing was a bit of a joke to begin with.
Yeah.
People started picking up on it for some reason.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all about our similarities rather than our differences.
Not that many differences. Because like if you think between like a Moroccan Jewish family and a Lebanese family, it's kind of the same thing anyway. So we never really were like, oh my God, let's discuss.
Yeah.
Kind of agree on everything anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, the way people interpret this phrase is a reflection of how people around us perceive it.
Yeah, oof, that's deep.
It's going very far, a lot to unpack.
Yeah, lots to unpack.
You've also, throughout your career, had really cool collaborations. You've got Solange Knowles, French Montana, and recently the incredible La Rue.
I find replacements, but they still feel like you. And now I'm just so confused. I feel lost watching the news. I've been running out of juice. I don't want to have to choose.
What do you look for in the artists that you collaborate with? What's the thing that draws you to collaborating with other musicians?
Like to take them out of their universe and put them in our universe. Like that's why for us, the idea like let's say collaborating with someone who's already making kind of funk, it's to some degree, it could be cool, but it's very interesting for us to take someone out of their element and then bring them into a funk song.
You're both from Montreal. You're very familiar with French culture. Any French artists currently that you have your eyes on, or French music that you particularly like?
Definitely, like even all the L'Impératrice people that are playing after, they're fire. Like a lot of French artists have been referencing this kind of disco variété, like Clara Luciani's last album, and there was another one too, like that have kind of returned to that, and we think that's fire. And P's really following a lot of the hip hop stuff, and we like Jewel. And
yeah, Jules got very known for his production.
I love Gazo. Our parents, as you know, people from French colonies would listen to French music also.
Definitely.
You know, my mother would listen to French music at home.
My mom was a big Jacques Higelin fan.
Aznavour, Jacques Brel.
I like the fact that you take your music seriously, but you don't take yourself seriously, which is very important. And I also want to talk about your fashion sense. You need to talk us through your looks today, because they're pretty good.
Well, why don't we each say what the other is wearing? I think that's funnier.
Dave is wearing a very slick Italian Playboy.
There you go.
With a touch of cowboy.
That's good.
Which resonates to me as like, he's only missing the red scarf.
I have it. I brought it. I brought it.
It's, you know, the early 80s French biker.
Yeah. Cool. And then P is straight from Métro Barbès. We would go back in the day and dress P at all like the sapeur shops at Barbès Metro.
Barracuda.
Exactly, and Maracaibo.
Yeah.
No, but we used to go there in 2003.
That's where I get.
Yes.
This is, I'm telling you, before it was trendy.
Thank you very much, Chromeo, for having joined France 24 at Rock En Seine.
Thank you.
And that's it for this edition of Encore. The latest France 24 news bulletin is coming up in just a few seconds. We're going to play out with some of the highlights of this year's Rock En Seine.
Can you please explain this to my heart?